Okay, welcome to Cocobeed Saucy Ear Juice, where we bring all of the juicy sauce to your ears. Today we are going to be talking about the coronavirus that has been plaguing and affecting our lives, driving us crazy. Some people are in their houses. They want to go outside. They want to gyrate their bodies, and they still can. They can do it in their houses. But they want to do it outside, and they can't because coronavirus is just waiting at our doorsteps, literally in some places. And just waiting and saying, yeah, let one of these son of a bitches leave their house and see how I'm going to up. So, with that being said, obviously we know the extent of how serious this virus is. We don't really need to go into all of those details because I'm sure as long as you've been living on this planet, and as long as you're alive on this planet today, you know the severity of the COVID-19. It's definitely everywhere. Every single where. I was trying to find some research today. There is an island north of Russia. I believe the name is Slovado. Don't quote me on that, but if you do look up the north of Russia, an island in the north of Russia, you should be able to see the name of that island. And I think maybe that's probably one of the only places on earth that is coronavirus free, or not necessarily corona, but has not been affected by the coronavirus. So today we will be mostly focusing on, just any little tips that can help us to better understand and to more equip ourselves to actually get through dealing with this virus. So first, I'm going to start by just, giving a synopsis of the virus. COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. reached 2,479 on Sunday, surpassing the 2,445 casualties recorded among Pentagon personnel and civilians as a result of the U.S.-led military intervention in Afghanistan. The U.S. has the most confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the world. Italy is on complete shutdown. Japan planning a possible lockdown while banning travelers from the U.S., China, and Europe. So, there you have it. As it stands today, there are more deaths as a result of the coronavirus than what occurred in the Afghan war. And obviously, those are civilian deaths. But it is what it is, and those are the facts. And this is as of March 30th, 2020. And a lot of countries are now refusing entry to citizens of other nations. And obviously there is a good reason for this, because we don't want to deal with any more issues with people actually adding to the concentration of the virus in any territory, so to speak, So we would prefer if it sounds awful, but we would prefer if the virus continued to spread from person to person within the territory and not from people outside of the territory. Because once you get into that ballpark, it's just going to be recycling of a never-ending cycle, basically. So we don't want that, So we have got to understand that. I hope there are no, immigrants trying to cross any borders right now. And that's being real, because obviously that goes on every day. But yeah, that's kind of messed up right now if you're trying to get on a boat to go from, I don't know, where some country in Africa across the ocean to Europe. Now might not be a good time. It really might not be a good time. But nevertheless, the struggle continues. And let's hear a clip from Mr. Trump. And in this clip, he's going back and forth with reporters, trying to convince them that the government of the United States is doing the best job that they can. As to whether or not we believe that he's doing the best job, I guess that comes down to personal opinions, because at the end of the day, it is a new situation for everybody. My take has always been, why weren't the borders of every country closed from China in the beginning? Because we would not be in the situation that we are in. But, I mean, it is what it is, and we're here right now. So we have to face it as such. Let's go to our
estimates that the peak in death rate is likely to hit in 2 weeks. So, I'll say it again. The peak, the highest point of death rates, remember this, is likely to hit in 2 weeks. Nothing would be worse than declaring victory before the victory is won. That would be the greatest loss of all. Therefore, the next 2 weeks and during this period, it's very important that everyone strongly follow the guidelines, have to follow the guidelines that our great Vice President holds up a lot. He's holding that up a lot. He believes in it so strongly. The better you do, the faster this whole nightmare will end. Therefore, we will be extending our guidelines to April 30th to slow the spread. On Tuesday, we will be finalizing these plans and providing a summary of our findings.
Okay, so there he's just, telling us that as for America, which we know has the largest numbers of COVID-19 cases in the world, they are going to be extending the period on for when whatever they're doing until April 30th. All right, so let's go into some more things that will be of help to us. The risk factors. First, age. So when you are older, and especially if you're a man, because it seems that men have been faring worse than women, 80% of deaths have been in those older than 70. So be careful. And despite saying that, we have to also ensure that everybody knows, regardless of your age, you can die from this virus. Pre-existing health problems. Italy reported that of the first 9 reported cases, 7 were confirmed to have grave pathologies such as heart disease. And also diabetics, people with lung problems, and people who have asthma have to be extra careful. Preventing the virus from being caught. People have been caught on cam licking doorbells, placing mucus on elevator buttons, playing with their balls and touching everywhere. That's not what we need. Please be hygienic during these times and protect yourself. Look at whoever is beside you, no matter what the distance is. See, are they putting their hands down in their crotch? All right, if they're putting their hands in their crotch, you might just not want to touch whatever they touched. And use a mask at all times, because regardless of what we want to say about how goofy the masks look, they are essential. They are really, really vital, especially when they're well made, like the I think it's the C95 mask. Okay, and another important thing is for you to build up your immune system. And the way that we do that is we get enough sleep. There are really no excuses right now. You're at home. Don't be just up playing video games all day. People have actually died staying up playing video games. So get your sleep. Take your cod liver oil tablets. Decrease toxins. Eat more nutrient-dense foods. And garlic is a big booster for your immune system. And when we say decrease toxins, it's not as if it's only smoking or drinking or any kind of habit like that. It's actually stop eating those burgers, stop eating those fast foods. It's really hard to get fast food right now. But if you have one of those hookups and you can call your buddy and be like, yo, we need some, I don't know, whatever, McDonald's or something over in the crib, don't do it. Because you don't need those toxins. Drink bone broth or drip soups. They are good for you. Basically, any soup that doesn't have that heavy base, it's really, really good. Take your vitamin C's and natural juices daily. Daily. Okay, so one little big controversy that has come out of this coronavirus is that a lot of the local authorities have been calling for the freedom of prisoners because it's really hard to contain the coronavirus in prisons because obviously the situation is not ideal. And there has just been the first federal prisoner in Louisiana has died from the coronavirus. He was serving a 27-year term, and he did have long-term medical conditions. So as we spoke about that before, so that might be a factor. But the big question is that, a lot of these local authorities are saying we should free some people because, let's be realistic, they can't be in these confined spaces and, the virus is spreading around. It's not gonna make anything better. It's only gonna make it worse. But as he was serving a 27-year term, and his sentence was actually for drug trafficking, I believe. It's really hard to decipher what you're going to do in such a situation. You can't just say, hey, go home for a few weeks, But we also have to remember the prison staff too, because they need to be taken care of. They need to actually be secured. It's like the police officers. As of today, March 30th, there have been 70 New Jersey police officers who have came down with the coronavirus. So there have been no reported cases of deaths, but they actually have caught the coronavirus, which obviously you have to think about these public officers because we need them in this time, especially. And be careful when reading the news out there on social media, especially when it relates to new symptoms of the virus, because that's one of the big factors. And I'm going to leave you with the fact that neither the CDC nor the WHO lists vomiting or loss of appetite as symptoms of the virus, and diarrhea is very rarely reported. So that's been a big factor where a lot of people do think that, vomiting is a symptom that we need to look out for. So if they're going to be somewhere and somebody vomits, then it's going to be like, oh my God, he has a coronavirus, let's leave him there to die. Well, and especially like if it's a female, she might be pregnant. So let's try to take a lot of precaution in terms of knowing what are the symptoms of the virus in order for us not to be in a real state of panic, especially when we might be needed to help somebody. Well, that was it for today's podcast. And of course, it's Cocobeed Saucy Ear Juice. So please check me back again. I'll be having another podcast. I don't know when, but soon. And let's keep safe on the roads. Please remember, you have never forgotten to put on your condom. Do not forget to put on your mask. Peace out.